We're satisfied here if we get 6%. Any company here who is offering 8%, you'll find it gobbled up tomorrow morning. And it's all owned by our family. We have not gone public. And we pay our individual members, and I happen to be one of them, drawing the same amount of the stock my father gave me. And he gave me every share that he gave them. We all shared equally when he departed this world. In fact, he gave it in 1939 and lived until 1959. He was so confident that if he ever needed it, we would give it all back to him. But he gave it because by law in the Indies, a man must outlive his gift by 5 years to avoid taxation. To his 9 sons and his 1 daughter, equal shares of everything he had. And then outlived it by 20 years. But he knew he would never want, because every one of us would put the whole thing right back into his hands if he wanted it. Well, he didn't need it and he didn't want it. And it's been split and split and split. And still paying its 20%. Because we think alike. And my brother Victor, at the age, well, he was only 19, when he had this vision that imagining creates reality. And he saw a building on the main street, and the building actually had over its marquee, F.N. Roach and Company. Our name is Goddard, and my father's initials are J.N., Joseph Nathaniel Goddard. And he saw J.N. Goddard and Sons. And he never moved on a morning when he went to work until he reread that sign and made it read J.N. Goddard and Sons. And on his way back home at night, J.N. Goddard and Sons. And 2 years later, that building was for sale. And a stranger, we had no money, a stranger came in the day of the sale and asked him if he wanted to bid for it. He said, I have no money and no collateral. He said, I will bid for it. I'll get my lawyers to bid for it. If they know I am bidding for it, they'll push it up. But I will have my lawyer, and he represents many people, so they will not know who is bidding for it. And that day we owned the building. We had no collateral. Paid him back his money in 10 years at 6%, and then turned around 9 years ago, and sold that piece of property, which we bought then, back in 1921, bought it for $50,000, and sold it to the Bank of Nova Scotia 9 years ago for $840,000. And there is no capital gain in Barbados. So that's what he did. That's how he thinks. He never waits for one moment. He knows what he wants, so he has the vessel in his hand. The hand is his own mind. And here he simply works on it. That's exactly what he wants. And so he doesn't care about rumors. What rumor? It doesn't interest him. What so-and-so is doing, it doesn't interest him. He knows exactly what he wants. I'll give you one little story. We're a little island. And we needed all the help we could get because only ships were coming in and no planes flying. In those days, there was no commercial flights. Only ships. And the Germans, he knew, would do exactly what they did on a bigger scale in the second attempt to conquer. And that is, sink all the ships that they could find. And so what would we do for merchandise? So he went out and he bought enormous sums of money from the bank and filled to overflowing all of our warehouses. He rented warehouses and filled it. But he brought it in not for human consumption on the surface. He brought it in as merchandise for ships, because if you do not understand the law of the sea, you can bring in all kinds of things and put it in storage, and when ships need those supplies, you simply empty your storehouses and you pay no duty on it. It's duty-free merchandise if it goes from the warehouse to the ship. If you bring it in for local consumption, then you pay the usual 30 or 33% on merchandise of that nature. But he knew the island needed it. He knew ships would not be coming, and the island would need it.